Hey folks, I'm CSK, your personal coach, and today I'm going to talk to you about things no one tells you in college. Last Sunday, the 13th of June, I did an Instagram live session on career planning. Now, it was only then I realized that there were a lot of questions which the youth of today have, and nobody tells the answers to these questions. In fact, let me tell you this honestly, there are a lot of conversations which we should have in a college, or even for that matter in schools where students are in their grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, because today these are very critical aspects of career planning. But unfortunately, we are busy as educators in completing syllabus and looking at other things where the child is often neglected. So when I did that Instagram live session, there were a horde of questions. I was flooded with questions. In fact, I started off with a 20-minute Instagram live, but then it went on to 64 minutes. I mean, if you are interested to check out the entire length, please go to the channel on my Instagram at the rate CSK underscore speaks, and you will get the Instagram live video. I've saved it 13th of June, if you just want to make it easy for searching. Now, coming back, so then I realized that, okay, I think that is one good thing which happened, but then there can be a session or a video for people to watch at their own convenience. And that's the reason I am making this video. And the title of this video is Things No One Tells You in College. Let me tell you this, even before we get started, each one of us want to be successful. I mean, I see this more and more in today's children. I meet thousands of children on a daily basis thanks to my job, and I also meet thousands of parents because the children meet me, so I also know what they are thinking. And then I have hundreds of teachers who work between these two extremes, that is the student and the parent. Now when I look at all this, the one thing common to all of them is they want to do good. Students want to do good, parents want to do good, even teachers want to do good. Now, if all of us want to do good, then what is that missing link? The missing link is each one of us want to do good in our own way, not in the common way. Yeah. I mean, let's look at this. Let's change the perspective for a while. As a teacher, what is doing good to me? What is doing good to me is completing the syllabus or getting good scores through my children or being popular in the school or college. That's doing good. As a parent, what's doing good? Providing all comforts and quality for my son or daughter, taking care of their safety, security needs, and also making sure that they are encouraged and they are fed properly. They got the best gifts or best clothes or best everything. And then they take pride in the students or the child's achievement. That's doing good. What is doing good for this child or the student? Student want to do good when it comes to his or her career. Student wants to make lots and lots of money. Student or child wants to earn a good job or a good position, become rich, become famous. A child wants to have good friends, maybe even a boyfriend or a girlfriend, where in the society, when comparison happens, he or she is not lagging behind. The child wants to score good marks in her subjects or his subjects. The child wants to be good in sports or maybe dance or theater or drama, music, extracurricular. The child wants to be ahead of everyone. That's doing good. Now, if you look at this, the yardstick to measure from the child's perspective is how am I doing in relative to my other peers? That means comparison. I am good compared to so and so. I am great compared to these people. So I think that's where the measuring yardstick is in the mind of the child. And today, I'm going to address this very issue in the next few minutes of this particular video. And I'm going to tell you certain things which no one has told you in college. In fact, nobody told me when I was in college. And the trend continues even today where no one tells these things in college. So let's get started. And I'm going to tell you few things, I think 5 to 6 things which are very, very critical for us to spend some time. Now, what I want you to do before I get started is take a piece of paper, a notepad, a pen, and just write down not what I'm going to tell you, but what comes to your mind when I tell you certain things. That's the aha moment. When somebody is telling you something, the internal conversation we have in our own mind is very important. It does not matter what others are telling you. Even it does not matter what I tell you. I am here to tell you that these are the things which nobody tells you in college. But that does not mean they are words worth its weight in gold. No, it is just giving you a different perspective. But what really matters is what you put on that paper, what comes to your mind, and what notes you take, because that's where you have food for thought. All right, I'll give you a maybe 20, 30 seconds for you to pick up your notepad and pencil or pen, and then let's get started. Okay, the first thing, let me start with the obvious. You must have heard of this in different perspectives, but the simple, straightforward perspective is no one can compete with you when you are you. Yeah, you know, let me give you an example. Just imagine you're taking a math test or a objective examination, a multiple choice question, and you score 23 out of 25. Now, are you happy with it? Of course, you are happy because you got 23 out of 25, but you're even more happy because your friend scored 21 out of 25 and you stood number two or number three or number one in that class of 25 people scoring 23 out of 25. Now, what does this say? This is how we measure our success in comparison to others around us. Yeah. And that's how the society works. That's how the society works. Why? Because society comprises of a lot of people. Society comprises of hundreds and thousands of people. And to keep every one of us in order, what is important is there should be a relative mechanism. And that's where this origin of comparison came into picture. How good are you when compared to these parameters? But in reality, we don't need comparison. When it comes to achieving my dreams, my perceptions, or my own passion, I don't need comparisons. So we need to look at ourselves. How good am I when it comes to me as an individual? So I bring the concept of competitiveness versus comparison. Now, what is competitiveness? Competitiveness is how good are you as compared to your previous performance. Take the same MCQ test, for example. If you scored 23 out of 25, the next time you take it, are you able to score better than 23 or not as good as 23? I think that is where you should focus your energy. Everything you do, maybe you take some time to watch some videos and you learn certain things. Ask yourself, the last time I watched a few videos, what did I do with that? Or maybe you write something. How good are you able to better convey that through writing? Whatever you do, you sing a song, you go for a run, or you just have a conversation with your friend. How good are you the next time you did that? And when you start doing this, you start becoming better and a better version of yourself. And remember, no one can compete with you when you are being you. That's my first thing. Now, here, a couple of things I need to tell you. You need to know what am I good at to start competing or competitively improving in your own way. Now, the best example is all of us can go back to our childhood days. If you are in college, just go back 5 to 10 years, or if you are in workforce, just go back 15 to 20 years. When you were in that school age, the middle school age, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, something interesting was happening, but we did not notice. And that was there was a piece of knowledge which was very specific to us, which we took pride in, which in fact, forget about you realizing, people around you realized. I mean, those days, if you remember, when your neighbors, your cousins, your relatives used to meet you quite often, especially during the summer vacation, and you were caught doing something, maybe building that small little house in your backyard, or maybe climbing the tree and plucking those mangoes, or maybe creating a slam book with all the newspaper cuttings, or maybe solving crossword puzzles, or maybe playing video games, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Or even some people used to keep all their books neatly wrapped in that summer vacation for their ongoing next academic session, or go meet up with cousins, take up a sports coaching camp, whatever. I think that is where the secret is. Look at it and see what was that I was so passionately involved for years together in my growing up years. And there, nobody had to really pay you to do all of that. That was coming out of your heart, and you never got bored of it. I'll give you my example. I was smitten by Sachin Tendulkar. I loved cricket, and for me, more than cricket, it was Sachin. So what I used to do is every single house I used to go during my vacation, or even in my school time or college time, I used to pluck their previous newspapers from the rack and then look for strokes and photographs of Sachin Tendulkar and have those cuttings saved in my notebook. Now, what did I do with that? I have volumes of those stacked in my bookshelf. It gives me joy, it gives me pleasure. Now, you may ask me, but how do you monetize it? You don't have to monetize it. We'll come to that in a while. Everything you do need not be for monetary benefits, but the passion, identification of the passion is important, and that is specific to you. And that's where the secret is. Now, if you are a person who's good at getting information from a group of friends, for me, it's not gossip, it's journalism. It investigating journalism. Okay, if you are a person who loves sci-fi movies, for me, you are an imagineer, a dreamer. Yeah. So these are things which you need to be focusing on. So knowledge which is specific to you. Go back and think from your childhood and write that down on that notepad, right? So that's the first thing with an example which I just gave you for getting started. Now, the second, this is something which we do and we make mistake and we learn, but we don't implement. And what is that? Doing is much, much faster than watching. 90% of our education system is built on I will do it, you watch me doing it, and then you learn. But I'm sorry, it does not work. What works is only when you do. Doing is much faster than watching. In fact, a great person rightly said, being or getting done is much better than thinking about doing it, right? So the point here is doing is faster than watching. Now, what does that mean in our lives? What does that mean is as simple as if you think you want to try your hand at something, just go and do it. Because when you start doing it, two things will happen. One, you may succeed, you may fail. It doesn't matter because you just wanted to do it. When you succeed, you know that there is something which you have and nobody else has, so that you can repeat doing it and become efficient at it. Or when you fail, you know that you're not made for it. You don't think you enjoy doing that. That's why you failed. So you can go to the next one. So doing is much faster than watching. So go back and start implementing whatever you want to implement. Try your hand at everything, right? And I believe in that, because why I believe in that is look at the future. Look at the future. The future is all about not one career for the rest of your life. Gone are those days. Those days are no more going to come back when I say I'm going to take a job and I'm going to succeed, move up the ladder in that particular job. And then one fine day, I'm going to retire or I'm going to create wealth for myself and my family, and then sit on a fortune. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen today is you got to move fast, which we call as you should be a hustler, right? You need to dabble on a lot of things. Now, when you want to dabble on a lot of things, the common chord for all this dabbling is doing. So, doing is much faster than watching. That's number two. Now, number three, studying. Now, what do I mean by studying? The common question or the common line which I keep hearing oftentimes is, sir, we keep studying so many subjects and languages. I don't know where are we going to use that in our lives. And you know what? As offensive it may sound, the truth is yes. Because you look at all the people who are working and making a living today in their lives, 90% of the times, what they studied in their schools and colleges have no connection to the job they are doing. That is true. And you can ask your parents, you can ask your uncles and aunts and relatives. Yes, that is true. But that does not mean what you do in college and school is a waste of time. What schools and colleges are meant to do is not teach you something, but teach you how to learn, teach you how to grasp knowledge and process information. That is a skill which we will use all our life. Now, when I'm talking of studies, I'm not here to recommend you study well, score well, and then you can succeed well. No, I am looking at giving you certain topics which can come in handy for the rest of your life. What are those topics? Or what are those disciplines, as we call it? The first one is psychology. Yeah, I mean, we can say that, okay, psychology is not for me, and science is my passion, or engineering is my subject, or my forte is management. It's all fine. But let me tell you one secret. Psychology is that underlying current which connects all these different disciplines. It is multidisciplinary. I mean, you study economics, you need a little bit of psychology there. Behavioral economics comes from there, right? So, psychology is one subject. The art of persuasion and negotiation. Communication is first level, but then the art of persuasion and negotiation comes in handy for you. And you got to study that. How does it work? And there is a system how it works. You got to study that. Mathematics, and when I say mathematics, I'm not referring to calculus or algebra or geometry. I'm talking about basic arithmetic. Basic arithmetic comes in handy for the rest of your life, and study that well. And if you are in college and if you still want to go back and improve your fundamentals, it's never too late. Do that. Microeconomics is very, very important. The one thing is knowing about GDP, per capita income, and how are we performing in the overall market called the world. But what is important is how the decisions which happen by the central bank and by the countries will affect me and my pocket. And that is where you learn things at microeconomics. So you got to do that, because lifelong, the one thing which you will be focusing on is managing your money. And managing your money better can happen when you learn microeconomics better. Then the next one is computers. I mean, enough and more has been said about it, the influx of technology in our lives. But we need to understand the fundamentals of computers. I'm not asking you to learn coding. I'm not asking you to learn programming. Do it if you have the passion. But what I'm here interested in is how computers and technology, information technology, can influence our life, and how can it penetrate much, much deeper. Because one thing is sure, as we go forward in life, technology is going to be all pervasive. In fact, it's already there, but it is going to be more deeper. You may call it by different names, by artificial intelligence or internet of things or machine learning or augmented reality, but then that's going to be the reality of our life. In fact, the line between your virtual world and your physical world is going to become thinner and thinner, and then you will start moving from two worlds or one world to another very, very seamlessly, and that's going to be the future. So you got to understand that. Last and important thing in my order is game theory. You got to understand game theory, and there are many books which are written and many videos which are there available about game theory. And why is game theory important? Is you got to understand how we can win collectively. Remember this: winning does not mean there has to be a loser. Winning means you and I can win and still be good at our own way or our own things, right? That comes from game theory. The most dumbed down version of game theory we commonly abuse and use is collaboration. Let's think win win. But how do you think win win? You want to think win win? Learn game theory. So these things comes in handy for the rest of our lives. So go do it. And by doing, you will get the things much faster than just watching. The third thing which I want to talk about is the secret of getting rich is becoming a perpetual learner. Yeah, nobody tells you this in college. I think it's the fourth thing, not the third thing. So the fourth thing is the secret of getting rich is becoming a perpetual learner. Now, when I ask students, what do you want to become in life? They will tell me that, sir, I want to study my graduation, and then post graduation I want to go to US or UK or Australia, and from there I will get my green card or PR and then settle down and do my job, and then finally I want to become a businessman. I want to become a CEO of my own company. I want to become an entrepreneur. It's all fine. I really wish them all luck. But what they miss is to become all of this and even more, you shouldn't stop learning. And that's what I mean by perpetual learner. And nobody tells you this in college. Everybody tells you study well now, write your exams well, score well so that you can get a good job and then you are set for life. What they're saying is you achieve this goal and that's it. But what they are not saying is there is no one goal. Every goal leads to the other goal. And to become that traveler, you need to be a perpetual learner. And that's very important. Go back in history. Go back in history and look at everybody's lives or look at people's lives today. If they are rich and famous, is only because they are continuous learners. There's a lot of hype about Elon Musk. Go and look at his life or watch some of the videos which talks about a typical day in the life of Elon Musk. He brought out the concept of time boxing, and in those charts you see that he's always learning a new skill. Why does he want to learn? He's got enough and more money and success in his life, but because he has to understand how things does not work, and then he wants to do something to make them work. In fact, a wise man once nicely said, the more I learn, the more I know I have to learn more, right? So that's important. So perpetual learning is again an attitude. Learner for life is an attitude. It's an act which you commit to perform for the rest of your life. And this is very, very important. You know, Earlier, the life cycle, as I've already told you, in college was, go to college, study your undergrad or postgrad for 3 to 5 years, and then you get your degree, your convocation, your certification. And after that, you work for 20, 30 years, then you make a fortune, you retire rich, and then relax for the rest of your life. That was the earlier model. In fact, your father, my parents, your parents, and everybody has been a part of that cycle, and there's nothing wrong with it. But today, the trends have changed. In fact, that entire cycle has come down to 4 years. Yes, you heard that right. What was for 30 to 40 years cycle or 50-year cycle is now come to 4 to 5 years. Let me explain. You can learn any concept in the world today in around 9 months. That's the global average which research has brought in. 9 months, you can learn any new skill or any new concept and you can actually get ahead of it. Then in the next 4 years, that skill is going to get obsolete. That's also true. So you take 9 months to master a particular skill, and it is going to be there for next 4 years, max 5 years. Now, in this 4 to 5 years, you got to make your mark and make the most of it in that 3 to 5 productive years cycle, right? Once you have mastered it and once you have made your wealth or whatever, then you move on to the next concept. The cycle continues. 9 months, then 3 to 5 years. That's how that the whole thing is working. Let me give you an example. You learn coding, you create an app or you create an application or some kind of a program. Now that catches up, and after that catches up, you will move on to the next level. You are not going to be stuck with it, which we call as innovation. You know, the minute you say creativity, you start creating, and by the end of creation begins innovation. You just finished creation, and then you're giving it out for people to adopt it, and then you want to innovate. When I teach entrepreneurship, I tell them the end of creation is not adoption, it is innovation. You got it? Adoption is a byproduct. You created something, so obviously adoption will happen. But as a creator, where should you focus? Is you focus on innovation. And to do that, you need to know this cycle. Next, number five. And number five is, this is a common thing. If it excites you now, but bores you later, that's not a passion, that's a diversion. Be careful. I repeat this for you. If it excites you now, but will bore you later, it's a diversion. So keep looking. And when I say keep looking, stop following the trend. Don't follow the trend. You know, common thing I keep hearing. In fact, we have this talk in our school staff rooms and college boardrooms. Okay, so what's the placement season looks like today? This year, who is competing for more mind share? It's the IT sector or the healthcare sector or the pharma sector or the consultancy sector. We keep getting this. And that trend keeps changing every year. For the last couple of years, it's always been healthcare and fintech and what is it, pharma. But then there are times where IT overpowers other sectors in our college placements and all that. But you know what? The trend is not decided by the market. That's a common myth. The trend is decided by the student. You must have seen a lot of movies. The one thing which I can give you an example is Three Idiots, where the guy says, "You keep your job, I'll keep my attitude." Right? So, what am I talking here? I'm talking to you about that important attitude. What excites you today and keeps you excited for the rest of your life is your passion. You follow that. No, my friend is doing this. He got a good job or she got a good job. She's now a VP level at the first step itself, and I will take 2 years to reach there. So I better go there. No, that is like you getting onto the train without wanting to go to the destination. The excitement is only to catch the train. But once you catch the train, till you reach the destination, it's frustration. Don't do that. Don't do that. So you got to look for what really keeps you smiling from within. And the secret here is everybody can smile. Everybody can smile. All you have to do is keep looking. Keep looking. There are ways to go do that. The single most powerful way is to keep looking. Yes, there are exercises and there are frameworks to follow. I can tell you all of that. If you, in fact, follow my channel, in short, in 30-second capsules, I'm giving you all of those techniques, how you can find your passion. So that's there. But then the secret is everybody can smile. Now, the next one. And the next one is earn with your mind and not with your time. Earn with your mind and not with your time. In fact, I told this even at the Instagram live, and I did elaborate on this when I was answering some questions. But let me explain this concept here. The concept here is simple. All of us are given only 24 hours. You may be born in America or Australia or India, you are given only 24 hours. And in that 24 hours, what you do is what will make you in your life. As simple as that. Now, if I say, I'm going to earn with my mind, there are unlimited possibilities, infinite possibilities. But if I say I'm going to earn with my time, there are only limited possibilities because the time is a limited factor for all of us when it comes to a single day. Let me explain you this with this example of the pyramid. Now, what's a pyramid? Consider the pyramid with a bottom and at the tip. Okay, that's the way the pyramid is designed anyway. Now, at the bottom, think of it like a worker or a laborer. Okay, I'll explain each one of them, but look at it as a worker or a laborer. And at the top, you look at it as an aggregator, an aggregator. Okay, so you have got two extremes. You've got a laborer, and then you've got an aggregator. Okay, so that's the thing. Then in between that, there are different rungs. Okay, let me go one rung at a time. Let's start with laborer. Now, if you look at it as a real estate agency or a real estate sector, there are laborers. We understand that. There are people who start working at the stroke of the morning hour, and then they work for 8, 10, 12 hours doing that same job, building the walls or trying to do some flooring or some plastering or any of those civil work. Now, what is the time they put in? 8 to 12 hours. That's measuring the time. Now, you go one rung up, right? You go one rung up, and then you have a contractor. Now, what does a contractor do? He's got many such laborers, right? And contractor will not work 12 to 14 hours or 8 to 12 hours. Contractor will work maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, supervising everyone, and he'll make sure that the work which is given to all these laborers are done. That's the second level. Now you go up one more level, you have a developer. What is a developer? Where he has many such contractors who in turn have many such laborers, and then he will give them the plan and he will say this is the timeline, and then the contractors and the laborers will get that done for the developer. And developer is not spending less more than 2 hours in a day to monitor his progress. Now the third person is developer, and then you go up for the fourth person, investor. Investor is the person who will actually have the remote control. What is the remote control? He will have developers, he will have contractors, he will have laborers, but then he's the guy who's going to fund them. He's going to get the land and have the plans, working with the architect, and then he'll put together a team of developers, and then they will start a project. So one project will have 2 or 3 developers, 10 or 15 contractors, and hundreds of laborers. But investor will have one project, right? So now you come to the fourth level. Now come to the fifth level, which is the aggregator. What is aggregator? Aggregator is a group of investors. Group of investors putting in their money so that they can identify different projects and then have more developers, in turn more contractors, and in turn more laborers. And that's what happens. Now, if you ask this question, who gets maximum profit or who makes more money? I mean, it's a no brainer, isn't it? An aggregator makes the maximum money because on every transaction, he gets his cut. Now, if you ask the second question, does the aggregator spend maximum time, like 24 hours out of 24 hours? Is he busy doing it? Absolutely not. He is spending hardly a few minutes or maybe an hour on making sure that the system is working. Yeah. Now look at that. And that's what I say, earn with your mind and not with your time. So I give the example of Mukesh Ambani in my Instagram live. You can go and check that out. But there, that's an individualistic example of how can I earn with my mind as against earning with my time. So that's the thing which you need to focus upon. Then the next thing, and this is my favorite, play stupid games, win stupid trophies. Yeah, play stupid games, win stupid trophies. Now, what do I mean by that? You know, our life is set in a matter of or a manner of pursuing games. It starts very early in your school, it starts very early in your life. Okay, how are you performing? Okay, you got first, or you got second, or you got third. Okay, here's the trophy. The first game we all begin to play is the game called school game. Okay, I scored well in my elocution, or I scored well in my math, or I scored well in my preterm, all that, right? The next game we graduate to play is a social game. And what is a social game? You know, compared to all the cousins, where do you stand? Okay, and then that gives you that pride and all those paraphernalia which comes along with it. Then you play the money game, how much money you are making. Are you better than your sibling? Are you better than your neighbor? Are you better than your cousin? Are you better than that friend? Or better than that guy who irritates you, that enemy, or whoever it is? And then we play the status game. Okay, I've earned all these things. Now, what car I drive, what clothes I wear, where do I live, how do I travel, where do I go for a holiday, what food I eat, which restaurant I go, all that. What gadgets I use. In fact, these are games which 90% of the world plays, and they get their trophies. But the one thing which we forget to realize when playing all these games is the real game. And the real game is the game called life. And what is the game there? There it is, are you busy doing things which gives you joy? Are you enjoying living your life? Are you getting your trophy of life while living that life? And what is the true trophy of life? Happiness. Are you happy doing whatever you're doing? And that is where the real game is. And nobody tells you this. Nobody tells you this because everybody wants you to get onto that treadmill, and that treadmill will never stop. So, I've told you almost six things which nobody tells you in college so far. Now, if you believe that these things really have importance, and if you think that these are things which are worth considering, then go down and comment and share your feelings in the video. The reason is when people read your comments, they get more insights. In fact, what are we doing here? We are sharing our learning. I'm sharing with you what I have learned from the Instagram live and also from people I interact with. And then I'm putting it through the video. And you are sharing whatever you are learning in this conversation, and you're putting it down as comments so that people can start learning from you. Because I've seen this, people will look at others' comments and then react to the video more than reacting to the video and then commenting. It's the other way. So be my partner and let us spread this awareness across people. So that's the thing which I would like to tell you. Now, the last thing, and the last thing which I want to tell you, which nobody tells you in college, is figure out what you are good at and start helping other people with it. Very early in life, figure this out. Figure out what you're good at and start helping other people with it. Give it away, pay it forward, as we say. Why? Because karma works. Oh, you may say, I'm a philosopher, bringing in karma. No, karma really works. And I'll give you a couple of examples, and that really changes perspectives. One, when I was in college, when I was doing my graduation, I understood that I love word formatting. Okay, what is word formatting? I love to work on documents in MS Word and then neatly align them, nice header, footer, and all those paragraphs and indexing and all that. And I was enjoying all of that. In fact, my father's documents, where he was working on different reports, used to run for hundreds of pages. I used to sit and format it and keep, not for the fact that he's going to use them, it's for my own joy because I learned and I wanted to try it out. You know how it came to my help? When I was in second year graduation, my seniors who were third year graduates, they had a project work. In my second year, I did 50 project formatting and I just gave it away as free. Free means, I mean, of course, as a junior, I could not ask them any money. I just wanted to do that particular thing because I enjoyed doing it and word spread and started doing it. After that, when I came into my final year, that came into my side hustle. It was my side income. Back then, we never used to get pocket money. So I started doing this project report formatting work. They used to type everything and give it. I used to do the typesetting, checking for typos, and editing and inserting some diagrams and charts. Back then, we never had infographics in 2005, but we used to have charts and tables, and I used to put that illustrations and all that, and I used to give it back to my friends and my classmates and other college students who are in their final year of graduation, and I made good money. At that time, that was my pocket money. Now, later, that has come into my life where today, when I sit on presentation decks for entrepreneurship pitch, I can figure out or I can pick up the exact question which I want to ask that particular person because I know how to look through a deck. I know how to look through the table. I know what factors to see for. Now, I used to play the hundreds and thousands game then in 2005. Today, I play the millions game. Why? One question from that number in that table, if I ask and I get the clarity, I know the valuation of the company. And I can see through the Excel sheet, I can see through the Word document and pick up that one line. So give it away. If you're good at something, give it away. It will come back to you. Remember this and then start working towards it, because these are the things which nobody tells you in college. Now, if you enjoyed this video, do like, do share, and do comment on this. And if you want to give this as a gift to one of your fellow friends, go ahead and do that, because I may not be able to reach all of you, but through you, I can reach many more of you. Thank you very much for watching CSK Speaks. And I will come back to you with more such insights about life and living, and keep watching. Till then, till next time, take care and stay safe.